The agenda for today, I just wanted to take this opportunity to discuss the benefits of online fundraising and making sure that all of you have an understanding of what Artez can do, the high-level importance of fundraising online and taking your offline efforts onto an online platform, including mobile and social, into the mix. From there, just kind of talking through some of the highlights of the Artez platform and the flexibility of it, and really keeping it high level, but letting you understand what we can do and how it can be kind of transferable from what you're doing on the ground and grassroots and collecting that money in hand and you know, and doing it online and trying to find ways to do so. Next, obviously working into the ease of use and navigation of the system, how it can be utilized, how easy it'll be to get up and running. And then from there, working inside of the system to personalize your page and get one of your community events up and running really quickly. And then just, you know, giving you an idea of the benefits around what it will take to kind of get up and running, what kind of admin functionality can be reduced by having things done online with respect to tax receipting and some of the paperwork that's being done, and then obviously the reach that online fundraising allows you to have. And then last but not least, just providing you some details around a new feature that we've put in place in the last few months called Donor Covers the Fee, which allows for a donor to actually cover the cost of your admin fees that you pay out to credit cards and to Artez for utilizing our product. So just getting started, you know, back in the day, and obviously not too long ago, people were going door to door to actually ask for donations, right? So to support their favorite cause and going out to friends and family within your community. I know when I was a kid, and that's probably a little while ago now, but I used to go door to door, and I used to sell chocolate bars for my soccer team to raise money so that we could buy uniforms and kits and be able to go into tournaments, and which was great. So we'd go to those neighbors, and they would support our cause. And similarly around Halloween, going and having a UNICEF box and collecting change to go out to them and you know, people would give you that money and it'd be great, and you'd have that reach of your social network within your neighborhood. Nowadays, things have changed dramatically with technology. Personal fundraising is no longer around pledge sheets and coin jars. You know, you're really trying to find ways to go outside of that network of friends, especially because there's exhaustion when it comes to asking those friends and family for money. So trying to find ways for people to actually fundraise on your behalf, getting to them through email, social, and mobile devices are the way to go, and that's the wave of the future. So when we talk about peer-to-peer fundraising and campaigns, it's really around allowing you to build out a network either of individual pages, team pages, or getting your company to go out to their networks of friends, families, and coworkers to try and donate on your behalf. So you build out a page, and whatever you would like to do, and we talk about this later in the deck, is just trying to figure out what you want to do and how do you get out to them. But Artez and FrontStream will allow you to get out to those people and reach them in a different way. So, you know, it's really a great way to kind of get people to start to participate and raise more money towards their goal. You know, setting a goal that the team or individual can try and reach is really important in terms of fundraising. And collecting money in hand is something. Obviously you have a goal in place, but it's changed the dynamic of how you raise money. So how does the internet make a difference, right? So with the growth of digital and social technology, so being able to actually go out and not just use you know, a pledge sheet or a coin jar or what have you, a bake sale to try and raise money, trying to utilize the functionality that's out there and at your fingertips. There's a quick stat here I wanted to kind of, you know, bring forward. So in 2014, the Pew Research study discovered that Facebook users say learning about ways to help others is a major factor for using the popular social network. So being able to use Facebook to try and raise more money is really key here, right? It's one way that we feel it's important to kind of try and build out the social structure and trying to build out what we do from a peer-to-peer basis in terms of online fundraising. And from our perspective, Facebook is our second biggest referrer to our product next to email. So it's a great way to reach out to more people, and we've built this into our system. So being able to have personal fundraising pages inside of Facebook to allow your friends and family to be able to give right inside of the platform, and then utilize all the inner workings of Artez to be able to send out tax receipts and deal with all of the reporting around that. And one quick stat below here, the average adult user of social networks has 338 friends on Facebook. So if you think of the opportunity here and the reach that you have within that social network is huge. So to try and touch 338 friends in your network, or like around your, let's say where you live, for example, in your neighborhood, very difficult to do. But through social and mobile and online, this becomes a lot easier a task. Last but not least, talking about the mobile audience that's out there. So inside of the Artez system, over 30% of our visitors, and this is ever growing, that to our charity donation or fundraising pages are browsing on smartphones and tablets. And over half of the emails are now opened on a mobile device, and that's growing. So just if you think about how everyone has a mobile device or a smartphone now, everyone's looking at pretty much everything on their phones. Facebook, going through and opening up different emails and links inside of their tablets and their phones. So giving them the ability to actually browse and make donations in that platform is key. Another piece of information that I'd like to kind of pass on to you is that fundraisers that are using our mobile websites and our mobile apps to ask for more donations are raising almost 3 times more than what people that are just using a laptop and PC. So it's just giving individuals the ability to make more asks in different ways. So when we talk about fundraising and peer-to-peer in particular, is trying to find different ways to actually get people to give on your behalf. So the typical reasons why people will give are, you set up an event for a birthday party, people will give you money, and maybe the money that you're collecting for a gift, you're asking people to give an alternative gift to a charity on your behalf. Similarly, weddings, like when I got married, what we did is instead of having bonbonnières that give out to the individual people that were at the wedding, we made a donation on behalf of everyone that was there to a charity of our choice. Other things like running golf tournaments, house parties, galas, so on and so forth. These are typical things that are run on system. And then obviously there's different things that people want to do that are a lot more creative and a little more out there, but coloring your hair or getting people in the office to shave their heads and raising money that way is something a little bit different and has that uniqueness to it. I mean, think of what happened with the Ice Bucket Challenge just of late with ALS Canada and all its different chapters. That event is run on the Artez system, and it took on a whole new life of itself through the social networks and on Facebook. So there's a real way of us trying to reach out to people that may be a part of your circle or of your friends and so on and so forth, but may be totally outside of that circle that are wanting to give to your charity, maybe because they want to or maybe because they're a part of this whole new fad that's taking on a life of its own. So just kind of talking through the pieces that I've discussed previously is, basically the way it works here is that you have your fundraisers kind of coming in, trying to come on and build a personal page, and Artez is doing things to allow them to be able to fundraise through a multitude of different areas. So being able to use their computer to go out and ask for donations and come back, having that connected into your mobile devices, tablets, mobile phones. We can also build mobile apps into our events, which can or cannot, depending on what you're trying to do, is also available to you. And then being able to connect in with Facebook through your mobile devices or through your laptop or your PC, being able to actually fundraise there. And the net here is that the more asks you make, the more people you're going to touch. And a quick stat to kind of throw out here is that 1 in 4 donations that are received are from asks that have gone out to people. So every 4 people you ask, 1 person will give. So if you do the math and you set a goal, it's pretty simple to kind of get there. So one of the things that we, when speaking with Michael and Lynn at Special Olympics Ontario, was just to talk about how this flow will work and how it is really easy for you guys to get started. So the idea here is you reach out to Special Olympics Ontario to build you a community event, whether it's a walkathon or a bowl-a-thon or a softball fundraiser, what have you. Really simple. The page gets built, and then once it's built, it's in your hands. You can do some customization to the page and send out to all your fundraisers and supporters to make donations on your behalf. So once you have the page built, there's a couple really easy steps that you need to do to personalize the page. So the first step that you would do is you have the ability to actually go into the page and build out your own YouTube videos and images that can go into a carousel at the top of your personal fundraising page. Excuse me. So what this does is it gives you the ability to really customize your page and let your donors know exactly what you're doing. So if you have a video that really encompasses the event that you're trying to build out, small or large, it really doesn't matter, but if you have something, you could actually get up there and just speak about what the event is all about and put that right in the top of your fundraising page. It really resonates with individuals that are trying to give. From there, you can also add a personal message. So if they don't watch the video, the message that you have in the body of your personal fundraising page is really crisp and clear, and allows you to get across what you're doing and why you're actually supporting the Special Olympics. Last but not least, I didn't mention it in my steps here, but your supporters can actually give in the bottom of your page. So anytime a donation is made, the donation will show up at the bottom of the page, but any comments that they leave will also show up there. So if they're, if they're egging you on to kind of, raise more money and do great things, and they're really supporting your cause, they can put that information in the bottom of the page. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of outline here too was around online fundraising and what the real principles of it are. So when you think of when you're raising funds offline, what are the big things that really are tough for you to do, right? So you're trying to get out to people and ask them for money, and you're trying and hoping that the same people will give to you time and time again. But in reality, that some people have had enough of giving to the same charity, or they're tapped out. They just don't have enough money to give to specific charities every year over and over. So trying to find ways to raise more money is one of the real key differentiators about online fundraising. Offline fundraising obviously is still important for typical or certain types or groups of individuals that don't want to give online, but you're also tapping into individuals that will give online and going out to more a larger circle of friends. The second thing is really around tax receipting and the administrative work that comes into play when you're collecting funds offline. The online fundraising tool that we offer to you from a peer-to-peer perspective allows you to collect donations online that is secure and easy to manage. And once the donation is successfully collected, we will send out a thank you email and a tax receipt directly to that donor right away. So there's no longer a need for you to collect funds and figure out who gave you money, fill out a tax form, and send out to them in the mail. Obviously, that's reducing costs as well, because you're no longer having to worry about postage. And then last but not least, tying into the first piece, is that you're getting new donors. You're getting people to give to you online that are friends of friends that are supporting a cause that someone has put up there. So if Tom, have come in and I'm supporting Special Olympics to do one of your community events, and I decide I want to run my own baseball game, right? And I could get my friends that have never been involved with Special Olympics before to come and donate to me. That's a new group of donors that you've never had access to before because you were able to get me to fundraise on your behalf. So what I want to do now is, and working with Lynn and Michael, just to kind of discuss the online fundraising efforts that have come into play from Special Olympics Ontario, when they came on board with us back in 2008. So, coming in on board, they're, coming from an offline perspective to an online one, obviously is challenging, and you're trying to find ways to administer an online piece here. The truth of the matter is they came in and they worked slowly. They built out the first holiday gift campaign on our system, and they've been kind of building that out ever since. From there, building out a general donation page for Special Olympics Ontario, and then the torch run following shortly after and starting to take form. So really trying to build out and trying to understand what's gone wrong, how they fix it, and build upon that over the last couple of years. And what I've kind of talked about on the previous slide is some of the benefits that Michael and Lynn have brought forward and team, right? So the extended reach of potential donors, right? So being able to reach people not just in your community, but within North America, Europe, Asia, what have you. So the sky's the limit in terms of where we can collect donations from around the world. Again, like I had mentioned, the immediate acknowledgement of receipt of the transaction. So a thank you email comes out and says, appreciate your donation, and it's a canned message that we set up in the system. The fundraiser also has the ability to go out and send a thank you, a personal thank you, to all those donors that have given to him or her outside of the system. Very simple and easy to do. Fast access to donated funds and flexible reporting. So you have an easy way of going in and pulling reports, whether it's you going in and pulling them yourself or Special Olympics Ontario being able to provide that to you. Very easy to do. The reports are real time, so that once the donation is made, they'll hit our system. We'll be able to actually provide that to you. The convenience, really simple to use and set up. Once the template is there, customizing it and being able to send emails out right from our system and be able to track everything within our system. So knowing the email has gone out to particular people, who's come back and donated to you. So there's all that tracking that's built into our system. And then obviously we're PCI level 1 compliant. So what that means is that any credit card that is put through our system, the security of that credit card is intact. We do not collect any credit card information and have it visible to any of the outside world. Even internally, I have no way of accessing any of the credit card information that comes through our system. And I've mentioned also electronic tax receipts that can be sent out right after the donation is made. The next slide here is really showing the polar plunge growth since 2009 starting. So just to show you how this has gone for Special Olympics Ontario. Since 2009, and the growth over that 6-year time frame is really important to show, right? So they had a really level set in terms of how much money they've raised. So coming in and raising $40,000 over the first 3 years, it's great. But as they start to get a handle of what's going on and starting to build out into different cities, you can see that that volume exploded over the next 3 years from 2012 to 2014. A really huge improvement, getting them up to in the $120,000 range from $40,000, just 5-6 years before. So, and that obviously is growing exponentially as more cities in the community come on board, and it's really important for all of you to understand. So, I mean, you're going from, if you look at the chart here on the right-hand side, they went from 1 event to 2, and all the way up to 6 events in 2014. So sky's the limit in terms of what you can do on the system, and it's really easy to kind of expand your reach from that aspect. So community fundraising. So obviously this is a piece that we really want to talk about with all of you. Being able to actually build out any type of third-party fundraising efforts, do an in memoriam or in tribute page. Basically, the sky's the limit in terms of what you can build inside of the page. All you need to do is ask, and we can help build that out for you. The idea here is that the template is built, and you have the inner structure of the header and background colors. But then when you jump into it, you have different scenarios that you can show. So one of the things that we'd like to show is, doing a pasta dinner at Boston Pizza. So being able to kind of put up some creative, show how easy it is to show, the money that's been raised and your fundraising goal, and pushing people to that donate button to support your cause. Another thing that we tried to set up was a bowl-a-thon. So a Tigers bowl-a-thon that's, you're going out there and then trying to collect funds for the bowl-a-thon that's, in support of Special Olympics. And really important, really easy to do. There's not too much that really needs to be done from your perspective other than putting the ask out there and making sure that the people that you want to support your cause are getting this information and going out there and doing it. Last but not least, the thing that I really wanted to kind of bring up too is we've built in this new infrastructure into our system. It's called Donor Covers the Processing Fee. And basically the idea here is that when a donor comes into the system, they have the ability to actually cover off the fees that are associated to your admin costs within the system. So that could be admin costs that you're paying out to Special Olympics Ontario. That could be fees that are being paid to us to support the system, or your credit card fees. But you could set it up either as a percentage of the donation or a flat fee that's out there. So a $10 fee, for example, could be something that you put out there that could be collected on top of the donation that's made. That cover the fee donation is also part of your tax receipt. So if you gave $100 in donation and you covered the fees with the $10 additional, that $110 would also be tax receivable. Okay, so pretty straightforward. I think it's a nice feature to kind of implement and give your donors the options of doing that. And then obviously it reduces your admin costs on your side. And one quick stat that I wanted to kind of bring forward is we took this functionality from our sister company, First Giving, in the U.S. So their stats show us from last year that 38% of donors actually utilized this functionality. So it's a huge chunk of change. So if you think of $100,000, $38,000 of that is being covered, right? So really, it really kind of gives you an emphasis of what people are willing to do for you and on your behalf. So as long as you set it up right and you give them the opportunity to do so, really great opportunity for you to raise more money for your cause. So I wanted to make this short and sweet. Talking through this with Lynn and Michael, we thought that it made sense to keep it really high level. But if there are any questions, I'm going to unmute now, and we can go from there. Any questions from any of you?
Thanks very much, Tom. That was great. Again, thanks for your time for doing this. But yeah, we're happy to take any questions either directed at Special Olympics Ontario or directed to you, Tom, and Artez.
Great.
Is it possible to get the PowerPoint presentation?
I can send it over in a PDF. It's probably too large to send in a PowerPoint, but I can definitely give you the deck.
That's perfect.
Okay. Who was that?
All right, Marianne Shervin-Laurie in Oakville.
You know what? I'll send it to Lynn, and Lynn can share it with everyone.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It's probably easier for us to ship it out. We have everybody's email addresses,
Perfect.
So we're happy to do that. And then remember, guys, it's also being recorded as well. So if you wanted to take another look at it, you can do so at your leisure.
Perfect.
I saw in the PowerPoint presentation there was credit card payments. Do we have options for online Interact, or PayPal?
So you don't, right now we don't have anything for Interact, but through PayPal you have the ability to connect in what's called PayPal Express Checkout. And off the top of my head, Lynn, do we have express checkout set up for you guys?
Yes.
Okay. So the way it would work basically is when they get to the donation form, there's one of two options. They can choose to pay through credit card, or they can choose to pay through PayPal. And once they click on PayPal, PayPal will take you to their own form where you could have your credit card set up or your Interact set up as well. And then once that donation is made there, it comes back into our system and everything is processed and everything else will work the exact same way.
For them to take care of it. And how do we, do we get support on that?
That answer your question?
This is Marianne again?
Pardon me?
This is Marianne again. I just did the Terry thought.
Okay.
And I had my own little Artez site for the donations. And I know there was also an option on that screen to manage donors who weren't going to go through the internet, who were just give me a check, and that would be included?
Okay.
So that's another option that we can potentially set up. The idea here is that it's basically for electronic funds transfer, being able to collect the check information. Then you would have to go out to the bank and process that check. So there's still administrative work that needs to be done there.
Yeah, we've got a population where some members of it are not interested in the internet. I think it's be available.
Well, what you can do is there's two ways of doing this, and this is something you'd have to discuss with Lynn and team. But either you collect the information, the check offline, and then you can put it through what we call is our managed cash and check area within the fundraising portal. So you populate the check amount in there, send the check into the head office. They process it and confirm that the funds are indeed collected, and then you verify that within the system.
Sounds like what happened on the weekend.
Yeah, so it's very similar.
And at the run, actually.
Yeah, you could do that.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback, everyone. If you're having side conversations, it's really hard to hear.
You'd have to act the hell out of it.
Hello?
Hi, it's Dave Cavanaugh from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
What is the overhead cost
Overhead costs for what?
for attaching to this environment?
Yeah, I can answer that, Tom. The admin fee that Special Olympics charges the communities is 10%, Dave.
Okay.
All right, that's 10%?
10, yeah, 10.
Okay.
Yeah, that covers a number of different costs associated with payment gateways, with the credit card companies, with the resources that we have here at the office, and the payments that we need to pay to Artez directly for the use of the online tool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where the donor pays the fee piece, I think, is very valuable. It offsets those costs that you would have to pay. But something to keep in mind. There's a couple of questions that Amy's posed here that I'd like to answer. So Amy, you'd mentioned that do we go through Special Olympics to set up a fundraiser, or do we do that through Artez? So what you would do is you would go through Ontario and get them to help you set up a page. Pretty straightforward, and then from there you can customize the page from there.
Want to jump in there, Mike?
Actually, Amy and Tom, I can answer that question too.
Sure.
As you said, as you mentioned before, we have pre-made templates for all the communities already. So we've divided them into the different districts and by community. So for example, let's use that London, for example. As you saw there, the community coordinator or whoever's in charge, fundraising coordinator, they can go in. We've already set up the pages, so we can send you guys the links. And from there, you can actually create your own customized fundraising page. So whether it's an event, general donation page, that can be set up. And we can help you guys set all that up if there's any questions about how to set that up.
Does that answer the question? Does that help?
except for how to get a hold of somebody to set that up.
Well, that would be us. But your community page is already set up, along with the link and your personal community page. There's actually a set of instructions that walks you through how to customize the page.
And where do you find the page?
We're going to send those links out later, Amy.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
No, and these are valid questions, right? So if people don't know how to get to these pages or what questions to ask or where to go, I think Lynn, Michael, if you guys can help the team with that, and maybe that's already been communicated, but
actually, Tom, we just, as you know, we just did a revamp on all the community pages. They were actually built throughout the summer months.
Right.
So the links haven't really gone out to anybody yet. So we wanted to have the webinar, get a feel for the interest. But basically, all the community pages for the whole province have all been created and customized.
Great.
The links, the usernames, the passwords are all available, and they'll be going out to community coordinators, probably either directly from Special Olympics Ontario, from the provincial office, or through your district developer. But they're all customized, they're ready to go, and they're ready to use.
Great, great. Okay, Amy had another question here. Where do donations go to? Through Artez to you guys or directly to you guys? So,
okay, I'll answer that question.
Sure.
So all the funds come into Special Olympics Ontario's main bank account. It's identified as to what community the funds were raised from because of the coding that we give all the pages. Every week we download the data, and then we do a little data manipulation, and then we ship it to finance, who then transfer back the funds electronically directly into your community account.
Okay, so for example, I have family all over Ontario.
Right.
If they want to donate, they would go specifically to North Bay's page?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, Amy, the idea would be is that you're sending them emails and directing them to the page. If they don't check emails, then you're getting them the link somehow, getting them to that page, so that everything that is collected through North Bay is really going to you.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
the good thing too is that it comes back to you a lot faster than physical checks. By the time you mail your checks or your money order, then we receive it, then we have to put it to the bank, then we have to wait for the checks to clear, then it goes to data entry, and then it goes out in the mail. This way, you get your money back within 5 to 7 business days directly into your account.
Great.
So from a treasurer's point of view, will they receive any communication as to this amount is being deposited to your account?
No, we don't have that process even in place right now. So, for example, when stapled revenue or other types of revenue or the money that they've submitted comes in, it just gets transferred back. There's no notification that goes to anybody that the transfer has been completed. They just need to check their bank statements. If they have any questions on monies that have been deposited into their bank accounts, then they can connect directly with Gail.
Yep, and you'll know how much basically you've raised from your bank because you'll see it on your page. So if you look onto your account, eventually you'll see roughly the same amount minus the 10% admin fee.
Now these amounts, will they go into the general accounts or the trust accounts? Because trusts are very touchy on that.
Oh, no, that goes into your general. We don't put anything into a trust account unless it's gaming. So everything's put into your general account.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good questions. So I got a question from Kevin Payne. What assistance is there for setup and using social media? I think this, Michael, this is probably you.
So in terms of on the back end there, we do enable social media. And basically, when you want to register a new event or you want to create a new page, some sort of fundraiser, the ability is there to connect with Facebook so that you can basically advertise it and promote it using social media. The tools are there. If you want to get into specifics, you would have to contact me there. But once we send out the link, you know what? I would encourage everyone just to play around, and then if there's any questions, to contact me afterwards.
Yeah, and Michael, if there's anything that I can provide to you in terms of some documentation, I'll do that. But to touch on what Michael was saying, you can connect in through Facebook to share your page inside of Facebook. You also have the ability to share the event within Facebook to say, you know what, I'm supporting this cause. And then you also can utilize any of the other social platforms that are out there, Twitter and anything else that's out there as well. Okay, moving on. Tracy, sorry, Tracy, did you have a question?
No, as I started typing it, you guys started answering it, so I'm good.
Awesome. Okay. I don't have any other questions in the chat box, but is there anything else that people would like to ask?
Yeah, could I jump in, Dave Cavanaugh?
Sure.
I come from a small community, 22,000 people, and what we do is run a major fundraiser every 2 years, and we raise quite a few bucks. What I'm concerned about is nickeling and diming our friends and supporters. You know, I'd much rather have a person give me $100 than two $10 bills. So I guess what I'm concerned about is, how does a small community not use this system, overuse this system, and nickel and dime their supporters?
You know what, Dave, it's a really good question, and I think if you're running the event every 2 years, then not a huge deal, right? Instead of you collecting funds offline, you're collecting them online. But the truth is that those people that you're going out to could potentially become fundraisers of yours, not just donors, right? So finding a way to get them to support your cause and going out to their friends and friends of friends, is, you know, being able to actually reach out and touch more people is key here. And that's, you know, it's really twofold: being able to give people the ability to do it in an easier fashion, but also giving them the ability to actually deal with your administrative costs and your overhead in terms of dealing with tax receipting offline and collecting checks and so on and so forth, reducing that dramatically. So, you know, some of this is benefit to you, some of it obviously benefit to the community. There are going to be some people that want to still give checks or cash, and that's fine, but you're giving them the option. So it allows you to do more with less and, you know, hopefully collect more money.
Yeah, but Tom, I mean, you're absolutely right, but, you know, it is all about choice, right? But I do agree that you've got a much farther reach with online fundraising. I mean, we've seen it lots of times where events have been set up and we've had people, you know, on the other side of the world donating money. So the extensive reach is there. And I think it more than compensates for the fact that, you know, unfortunately, you know, we have to charge an admin fee because we have hard associated costs ourselves. But I mean, we've also got lots of statistics that prove how much we've grown with online fundraising. And you know, one of the most successful programs that we've operated is the Adopt an Athlete program. For every single game that we've run for the past couple of years, we've had Adopt an Athlete page, and it's raised a tremendous amount of money. I mean, North Bay are operating with an Adopt an Athlete page right now, and it's generating the funds that they need. You know, they wouldn't be as successful with this program if it wasn't for the fact that we had online fundraising available to us. So, you know, it really is a useful tool, and I can't say enough about how great the system is, and it really does work.
I totally agree. It looks like a great system. My second question is, when a community sets up a fundraising event and all the information is collected from their donors, where does that information get used afterwards? Is that kept within the community environment, or is it shared across Special Olympics Ontario or Canada?
Okay, so to answer that question, all the data that goes into online fundraising then gets imported into our major donor database called Razor's Edge. All of the data is in Razor's Edge, along with all of the community information that we currently have on on your current donors with offline fundraising. Nothing is done with that data. We don't mail to these people. We don't solicit these people. These are community-based donors that have either given to you online or they've given to you offline. If you need to access that information, or if you need to send out thank yous or acknowledgments, we're happy to provide that data to you. If they happen to be, a community donor from your community. Does that help, Dave?
I'm just getting used to this. Yeah, that's great. I've been muting myself and unmuting.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you haven't been using online as a tool, it's very effective, but it does take some getting used to. It really depends on how you want to go out and reach your donor base. But let me assure you that there's other clients other than Special Olympics Ontario that are doing great things online. Marianne just mentioned Terry Fox in the chat box here and said that the way she managed her fundraising efforts was on Facebook and sharing her page inside of Facebook. There's very few mass mailings to contacts and has raised a fair amount of money using social media. And she said it was very effective. So I don't know, Marianne, if you'd like to elaborate on that a little bit, but I think the keys are there. It's just a matter of how you want to utilize it.
We have any other questions out there, Tom?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Well, if anybody does have any additional questions or anything specific, both Michael and myself are available here at the provincial office to answer any inquiries. But please note that district developers will be sending out that infamous link that will allow you to get going with your online fundraising, along with login and username and password information. So like Michael said, you know what, please guys, hop on, customize your page, play around. If you have any issues or technical problems, just let us know. We're here to help.
It's Kevin Payne here. I just have a question regarding when you send that link out. Will there be documentation come along with that for assistance in setting up and using it?
Yes, it's going to come with a couple of pages of instructions to further customize the page that we've already started for you.
Perfect.
All right, great. Well, if there's not any more questions, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time over your lunch hour to come and sit in on this. It's a great opportunity to meet all of you. And if there are any further questions, you can direct them to Lynn or Michael, and I'd be happy to help answer any of them. So thanks again. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.